The world as we know it has changed. Our way of life upended. Thousands of lives cut tragically short, many others gravely ill. All of us impacted by a new normal we never expected 2020 to bring. Late December 2019, Wuhan, China experiences an outbreak. The novel coronavirus, or its proper name, COVID-19. The CDC states that COVID-19 likely began with some kind of an animal. But as the days and weeks progressed, the virus spread from person to person worldwide. Cases in the United States now exceed that of the original outbreak and surpass the lives lost in the 9/11 attacks, as this pandemic has only grown more ruthless. The CDC believes that the virus spreads between people who are within about 6 feet of each other by way of respiratory droplets that form when an infected person sneezes or coughs. But it may also be possible to contract the illness by touching a surface or object that has the virus and then touching one's face, something we all do on average about 16 times an hour. Symptoms of COVID-19 include fever, cough, and shortness of breath. Some patients have pneumonia in both lungs and multi-organ failure. African Americans are disproportionately in danger of contracting the virus due to social disadvantages and health inequities. Medical conditions like obesity, diabetes, asthma, kidney disease, heart disease, and disabilities make us more susceptible. And our community's access to quality health care and insurance is limited. So by the time we seek help at a hospital, we're already seriously ill. The sobering reality is that there is currently no vaccine or specific antiviral treatment to combat this vicious disease. In light of this, the current United States presidential administration and the White House Coronavirus Task Force have issued social distancing guidelines for citizens which were recently extended. Several states have issued stay-at-home orders. Businesses, industries, and even places of worship are closed, events canceled, jobs and wages lost. Many of us unable to do simple things like shake hands, hug, or even kiss. Things we likely take for granted. The African American community is known for its sense of unity, togetherness. During slavery, we were sold to owners who tore our families apart. But we form bonds with strangers who look just like we do. And it plays a role in why today many of us address complete strangers with affectionate and familiar terms like auntie, uncle, and cousin. It's why certain events hold a special place in the hearts of African Americans. Events like Odun Day. This celebration of African American interests and the African diaspora is held the second Sunday in June, following a week of cultural events. The main act attracts up to 500,000 people annually and is the largest of its kind in the country. 2020 marks the 45th anniversary, while the current global health crisis throws into question whether events like this will go on as planned. At last year's installment, my team of correspondents spoke with various attendees and small business owners.
Hi, I'm Zoe KATERI.
This is Terry POMPEY.
And I'm Robert X. Golphin.
And this
is an RXG exclusive.
You're watching RXG Exclusives.
So what brings you all out to the festival today?
Just want to share a little bit of culture with the people and connect, get a little bit of energy, mainly the energy.
Just to see the people, to feel the energy of the city.
It's just great energy. Everyone's here is so friendly and supportive and encouraging.
It's nice to see that we all can just put our personal differences aside, whether, colorism or LGBT or whatever background you have.
And the celebration of being Black.
We used to have a Unity Day years and years ago, and they abolished that, they wiped that out. So this is more like a Unity Day for me.
You want to embrace your culture and take some time out to love yourself.
The mindset of everything that we learn and what we have as a Black
black community.
And also spending time with my dad, family time is very important.
I just love connecting with the people.
I have a friend from Ethiopia who just came to experience this culture, and we were walking down opposite sides of the street, and he nodded to a person that was across the street from him. I said, "You know that person all the way from here? You're from Maryland." And he said, "No, I can tell he's from my country." So we walked all the way down and came back up, and sure enough, when they met, they actually were from the same place. It was just like a bond that they felt just from looking from across the street. So
I love to see this. You don't grow up seeing this in the hood. You know what I'm saying? When you grow up in poverty, you don't see the love. You see the hustle, you see the violence, you see the drugs. So this is kind of like what's missing. You know, if this was in the hood every day, it would be a lot better.
How many years have you all been coming out to the festival?
So I've been coming to Adune for the past. This will be my 5th year.
I'll say twice.
Twice?
well, I've been coming out for over 10 years.
Oh, I've been out here a few times, like 4.
This is my 4th year here at Adune.
And I think we started doing this together about maybe 5-6 years ago.
A friend told me about it a while ago when I first started off my business.
I enjoy it every year just to see all the beautiful pieces.
I'll say the clothes,
fabrics.
And I'm selling handmade clothing,
jewelry,
and accessories and t-shirts.
And for me, it's the authenticity of the cultural things that they have. We're getting actual African art from actual Africans. For years when I was younger, the tradition was get Asian art and stuff that was more not my culture. And I've realized that all the other cultures are stealing from Africa and just exploiting it. So I came down for the actual, real, authentic African culture and African art.
It's kind of put into the media that people don't embrace their culture. So this actually shows people the realistic point of view. You don't have no facades. You see people walking around, you see people loving themselves, and you also see a little bit of mixed of different clothing, jewelry. So this is very important because even if you can't go home to, say, Africa or wherever, this is your pit stop. This is crash course for you to meet some people from around the world so you can kind of get a little short synopsis of it.
So can I ask you this? What are some of your favorite things about the festival? You said art. You said the people. What else do you like about the festival?
Well, the main thing is the food.
Now, one of the things that stood out to me is the food. Neither of you said the food. Do you guys get the food while you guys are out here?
It's just that the lines are so long.
The lines are too long.
I don't like waiting. I got to have it right away.
For me, the food would be one of the best parts of experiencing the culture and really getting to taste the culture.
So how do you feel when other people come to shop at your store that are not of African descent?
Wearing the clothing, wearing the jewelry, celebrating with us. Do you feel like it's a situation of appropriating the culture, or they're out here to celebrate with us? Are you offended by it, or do you just look at it as, everybody is love?
That's a great question.
That's hard because...
Okay,
I think that you have to kind of think of it as your own interpretation of, how you feel you see things.
I'm actually really excited when other people who are not of African descent come to my shop because everybody's embracing the culture.
The only time I feel a little bit weird is when they're not a person of color and they're looking at the wraps, and then I feel like it has to be a teaching lesson that I have to let them know, like, certain designs are for like within our culture, and so it would be viewed as disrespectful if they were to wear it outside.
Gotcha. Nobody can appropriate our culture but us. Now, if you want to pay respect to us, you do that first. Then you come out, you get the respect from the elders to do this, to wear this, to rock this, because at the end of the day, we have a love for what we do. We have a respect for what we do. It's just like rap music. You come in and rap and do what you do and everybody loves you, you're welcome. But what's missing is you gotta have a respect for it as well. You gotta do the history for it as well. Look around and ask questions on the culture.
They're really asking questions about where the fabric comes from, and they're becoming educated about the fabric as well.
So I make it a teaching lesson instead of just kind of like, no, you can't wear that.
It's just like if a gay person has a straight friend and they're an ally, those people are allies to us and just want to maybe experience something different. And I have friends that, who don't know anything about the culture. I didn't for a long period of time, and now that I'm learning, and people want to learn what they don't know.
Don't just come and just rock the jewelry and buy the stuff. You got to really know what it is you're getting involved in. That's ignorance, and it's disrespectful to the elders who died to bring something like this. So I don't mind anybody rocking it, respecting through the history first. That's important. This ain't just for a show. To me personally, this is a life journey for me. Don't come in and be no undercover snake and you trying to steal and you trying to remix it and then you trying to take it to wherever you want. And then when you do that, you don't give no homage. Don't be ignorant and try to bastardize what people died for. Because this is a festival, but this is also, to me, this is like ritual.
Right.
This is like a religion for people just unifying an African cultures from different parts.
As long as you don't mean any harm to anyone and you're doing it out of fun and love, then all power to you. It's not my business to tell you what you can and cannot do.
We have a lot going on in the world today. So for us to come together and, just celebrate, it's a big experience, and that's what we need in life. It's love, peace, and soul.
So that's the Dunde Festival. Family, tradition, food, art, and jewelry, clothing, and obviously, and food, once again. So thank you.
With many streets across America being virtually empty at present as we all practice social distancing, it makes gatherings like this seem like a distant memory. Will this year's 45th anniversary go on as planned? We reached out to Odunde organizers for comment, but they did not immediately respond. As I mentioned at the top, the current health crisis has affected businesses and business owners, but entrepreneurs of African descent, like those featured at Odunde, are in an even more precarious spot. Joining us now to discuss this aspect of the pandemic is serial entrepreneur Ryan Glynn. He's the founder and CEO of Ryan Glynn Entertainment. He also happens to be my cousin. Why don't we begin with you telling me a little bit about your background and your companies, plural?
I guess I would, I had a publicist one time label me as a serial entrepreneur, but an entertainment entrepreneur. I think as it relates to entertainment, I work in creating. I have a company called, as you just stated, Ryan Glynn Entertainment, where I create mobile applications, fun for the family, word games. Also worked with Kent State University, Ohio State University, and the University of Arizona to create a mobile application that allows outside vendors and the school to be able to get in contact with students. So in situations like this, we could send a text message saying, hey, you guys need to stay in the dorm, or whatever the case may be, as it relates to COVID-19. And then aside from that, I have a tech company called The Busy Network. My main focus at this point is a product we created called BusyBid.
And that platform is extremely relevant, especially now. BusyBid gives people the opportunity to find employment, correct?
Exactly. So that was actually the point when I created it. It was a way, it was during the recession, and it was a way to provide people with work. So somebody who's been out of work, say for a year or so, or forever, however long, and could not find work and needed to make money to pay just the bare necessity, the rent or mortgage, car note, and even just for food. So we created it, just giving them a platform, giving them a vehicle to be able to provide for their family. And even people who have jobs who need to make a little extra money for the car this month, or a little extra money on groceries, or whatever the case may be, they can go and complete a job. And how it works is, say I need someone to come paint the walls in my house, or I ran out of gas on the 405 and need someone to bring me gas. I can post the job to BusyBid, and then someone out there looking to make some extra cash can do the work. I did an interview with New York Observer, I think it was, and they said if Uber, Craigslist, and eBay had a baby, it would be BusyBid.
And your word app games, Unword and Wordpalooza, are extremely popular.
Yeah, with the success of Unword, when we launched that in October 16th, actually, of 2011, it took off, and we were able to get downloads in over 100 countries. And from the success of that, I created my second app, Wordpalooza, which is another word game, a little different from Unword, but another pretty cool word game as well.
Being an entrepreneur of color, what's been the mood of you and your colleagues? How are you guys keeping the faith?
Great question. You know, unfortunately, this is something that has affected us all as an entire world. You know, sometimes when you have certain things, they happen in, say, America or in Africa or Europe, but this is something that is actually affecting everybody, the entire world, right? So as I often tell people, God is trying to tell us something. So we need to focus on what the message is He's trying to get across and get it corrected. I say reflection and correction is what we need to be focused on now.
Reflection and correction. I like that. That should be on a t-shirt.
You never know. You know, I'm an entrepreneur, so I may have one out by midnight tonight. So a lot of companies are losing money as it relates to African-American businesses. I know a few entrepreneur friends of mine who are suffering. I mean, it could be from the retail industry or the restaurant industry. Me personally, as it relates to the mobile applications, you know, you can download. This is like booming now because it's like, we don't have anything else to do but stay in the house and play games. So that part is not hurting. However, my company's like a busy bid, and some of the other things I do more so are taking a toll, you know, as it relates to going to someone's house and doing work for them or meeting them somewhere to do work. Overall, it's a very sad time in our world, and it is going to be very detrimental to companies, especially African-American companies, because it's, just to be honest, it's harder a lot of times for us to get ahead. You know, we have a lot of things that prevent us from being household names. So sometimes it's a lot harder for us to do that. And when we get to a place where we put a lot of work into it and we're working really hard to get our products known, or our company known, or people to utilize our products or whatever it is we're offering, and then something like this happens, it takes a toll on our community. It does.
And you and I speak off camera all the time. You're motivating me, I'm motivating you, we're trying to motivate others. What words of comfort could you offer your fellow business people out there who don't know what to do?
You know, and you know this, Robert, I say this all the time, but things don't always last. Unfortunately, sometimes the effect of something can be so great that it will cause you to restart. But that's okay. I often say nothing's impossible when you're unstoppable, and I live by that. When you put in the work, it comes to fruition. Things come to pass. And so I would say just don't be discouraged, even though you have moments where you may need clarity or encouragement. Just stay the course. You know, you got in it for a reason, and sometimes you have to go back to that initial reason of why you started your company or why you started a product or whatever it is that you love to do, that you give out or put out to the world. Just remember that initial reason of why you started and sort of go back to your roots. And then I often say as well, don't throw a pity party for yourself because successful people don't show up to those. And so I say just stay focused and let the tide move, and eventually you'll be able to move forward. We all will.
Thank you so much, Ryan. I appreciate it. Please stay safe, and we'll talk soon.
Bye-bye.
And so I'll leave you with this. Times may seem uncertain. We may be frightened, angry, confused, or all of the above. But I encourage us to be kind, compassionate, safe, and vigilant against this peculiar and malicious disease. Exercise our right to vote in the upcoming election, complete the U.S. Census, and check on our loved ones and acquaintances, especially elders, amid this crisis. But most of all, be hopeful for a far better tomorrow. I'm Robert X. Golphin for Terry POMPEY, Zoe KATERI, and the entire RXG Exclusives team. Thanks for tuning in, and we wish you nothing but the best. Stay safe, stay at home.
The name of my business is actually the name of my tribe. I'm first generation American, but I'm Liberian. I know my mom's dialect, but my father's dialect, they have two different dialects and they're not mutually intelligible. So unfortunately they can't understand each other. So the language that we speak in our house is Liberian English or Colloqua.
Colloqua? Mm-hmm. What's that?
It's like colloquial, but it's our Liberians love to like remix stuff. So it's our version of saying colloquial. So the name of the tribe is Pele, and that's the name of my business, Pele Designs.
Do you have a store down there?
No, I do not have a store. I'm only online, but I'm hoping to build into a store eventually.
Oh, very interesting. I have to check that out. So is it a lot of work? Does it take a long time each piece?
It does. It does take a very long time.
To make one piece, for me, it depends on what it is. If it's a smaller piece, it could be anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. It's a bigger piece, maybe like this or a dress, it might take about 30 minutes, something like that.
But it's okay though, because I feel like my business is my baby. And so it takes time, and I'm okay with that.
So you've been successful?
Yes, I have, every year. Ooh, well.
Funny. Bloopers.